Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I love? Patreon.com/inkdependence, where patrons get access to a patron-only Discord, ad-free videos, and the joy of knowing they help support this channel. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence. I'm Mike, and today I have two inks for you. Just two, not four. And they are these. This is a pair of inks from SugarTurtle Studios. Audrey and I met Tom of SugarTurtle at a pen show like a year ago or so, and he is delightful, and he has been making these inks with Diamine for a little bit. This is the second pair of inks. So we have here Cold-Blooded and Warm Heart, which are, these are adorable little labels. Look at the little sugar turtle on there. That's pretty great. You can only get these at SugarTurtle Studios, which has an Etsy store. You can find them linked down in the old description there. Pop over there, grab some ink, tell Tom I said hi. Also, I mean, get stickers and everything else because Tom makes such fun stuff and does the illustrations for them, and we love it. So go over there and say hi. Now, these can be in short supply. I know that he has been getting more made, but if you really like these, don't hesitate, I guess is what I'm saying, because they'll be, you know, in and out periodically. All right, let's look at it on some paper and all that jazz. All right, there you go. Here it is on one piece of paper. I decided to double it up because it is a set, and that seemed like a fun and appropriate thing to do. If you like this sort of side-by-side set kind of situation, let me know. Maybe I'll do this with some other inks in the future. I don't really have any in mind, but you never know. Let me know what you think down there in the old comments there. All right, so let's get started on these with some paper. This is Nebula Casual Note, which is my favorite paper for reviewing right now. I really like it for this use. You've got here Warm Heart on this side and Cold-Blooded over here on this side. Flow on both these, I would say, is pretty medium. I've had them in some very standard sorts of pens that I've been using a lot, which are these. I decided that the new Lamy set looked so much like these two inks. I was like, yeah, let's just do that. So in the Fiery Lamy All-Star, which is an exclusive for this exclusive, I don't know, limited edition, special edition? I'm gonna go special edition for this year, and then Aquatic on this side for Cold-Blooded just seemed like it was very appropriate. So I went ahead and did that. Both of these have medium nibs. They are very, I really like the color combos they did with these. They did a great job with these All-Stars. Good job on that, Lamy. And it was a fun little duo for this. And it gave me, you know, the same nibs and all that jazz. Now, I also have been using this one in a much larger nib. This is a Narwhal Nautilus Horsehead Nebula. And it's got a big old double broad on it, which I was like, yeah, let's put this ink in here. That seems like a lot of fun. It kind of matches the blue a little bit. It you know, it accompanies it nicely. A little bit of the sheen action kind of looks like that. Anyway, it looks really good with that double broad as well. So as you can see there, both of these inks are really nice looking. Both of them have a little hint of sheen, although a lot more on Cold-Blooded than you'll find on Warm Heart. I found in my writings, writing samples and tests and just using it day to day, I didn't really see this sheen. You're gonna have to put a lot of ink down there, I think, to get any of that gold sheen. So don't count on that, but also, like, don't worry about it. If you're not a sheen person, you're not gonna have to see it. Also, you'll see a little bit about it in here. Not a huge amount in the writing, but it does show up here and there, and it gives it a nice little, little pop of, I don't know, purpley, coppery, reddy sort of accompaniment to the ink color. You get a little bit of shading with both of them as well, which is very nice. So I like it. It's got good flow. Both of them look nice on the paper. The chromatographies of these look really cool. Let's go ahead and do our water drop test. Then we'll take a look at them on some other papers, and we'll look at some comparable inks, all that sort of thing. These are typically for Diamine, very inexpensive inks. They're available in 30 ml bottles. I think he has some of the larger bottles, but I don't know if they're on the site right now. I didn't see them when I looked earlier. So let's kind of shake and shimmy those around a little bit. I'm not really expecting much water resistance, although you'll see down here a lot of it did remain. Interestingly, the same bottom note for both of these. Isn't that cool? And this one is mostly blue, whereas this one's got different components in there. So let's go ahead and blot this away. Do some twin blotting here. Can I do this with both hands? I don't know. I'm not exactly ambidextrous. Boy, would that be cool to be ambidextrous, right? Like just be able to use both hands as your like dominant hand. That'd be kind of cool. Kind of cool. Fun fact, V from BTS is ambidextrous. Isn't that fun? All right, let's go here. So the Cold-Blooded was absolutely obliterated by the water. I almost got this in the text. That would have been a Not disaster, but not great. Yeah, so neither of these really have any water resistance to speak of. I would keep both of these turtles out of the water. Although, I mean, you'll be able to figure out what you were writing with this one. I think enough of that stuck around. This one, though, it would be very difficult to recover your work. So if you're really concerned with water resistance, looks like Warm Heart is a little bit better than Cold Blooded when it comes to water resistance. Isn't that interesting? That's it's not super usual, so that's pretty cool. All right, let's take a look at it on a bunch of other papers. All right, so here they are, my usual Staples 20-pound, 30% recycled copy paper, and I really only did the writing samples from the mediums. You can sort of predict that the double broad that I was using on this one would do like just worse in general because it's putting down a lot more ink. You can see here that there is a little bit of feathering, not a whole lot, but some feathering from each of these inks on this 20-pound paper. But also remember, this is sort of the bottom tier paper that you will have in your office copy machine because it is the cheapest. And both of them look pretty good on here, I think. And on the back here, you can see these are those lines. You see a little bit of bleed, like little spots of bleed through, but it's actually pretty par for the course. If you look at this whole page, that's pretty much what all of them do, except for what's this one up here at the top? That was my Baraje did really well on that with the little Twisby swipe nib. Interesting. But the rest of them have very comparable amounts of bleed, so that's very typical. So, you know, that's totally fine, I think. All right, next up, I went ahead and just did a side-by-side on this as well. And I just kind of kept writing as I was talking here about memorable but meaningless warning symbols. They're talking here about things like the radioactive symbol and like the biohazard symbol that don't look like, you know, a dude getting crushed by a box or whatever. It's just kind of like a symbol that doesn't mean anything until we give it meaning. So interesting story about that here in our 99% Invisible City book. But you can see on here, both of these look really nice on this paper. This is plotter paper, which I decided to give a try for this because plotter paper is very popular and it feels nice to write on. Both of them performed very well on here. There's not going to be any... Oops, getting away from me. Not going to be any bleeding or anything like that. In fact, it's really not even showing through. This plotter paper is very nice. I like the way it feels. You can get this separate from the plotter at a very, very low price point. So definitely check out the paper, even if you're not into the whole plotter system. On here, you will see a little bit of that sheen, which is interesting. I haven't seen that too often, but it definitely came through on the plotter paper occasionally. You can see it up here, like where it says just in the title and the first few words definitely have some more sheen, and some of the others as well. But looks like it was kind of there in the first bit. Maybe it had dried up a little bit in the nib, but didn't give me any hard starts or anything like that. The blue definitely did give me a little bit more sheen than the magenta there, which is not surprising. But both look very nice here. Next up, here's my Inky Fingers Currently Inked book, and this is sugarcane paper, or rather wheat straw paper, which is kind of like sugarcane paper at the end of the day. Let's see, where's the double broad one? There it is. There's the double broad, definitely more sheen, looks very nice. It's very smooth. It's a good ink to use on there. And then here, we have these next to each other in the fiery and aquatic pens there, looking pretty good. I think this paper didn't let it soak in very much, and so the Warm Heart looks a little bit, it's a little bit lighter. You get a little bit more of that shading there. The blue still looks pretty solid, although it takes on more of a almost cerulean sort of thing going on there. It's a little bit blurple, but not really. Like, I wouldn't call this a blurple ink, I don't think. Lastly, this is my Galen Leather Co. Everyday book, and this is Old School Tomoe River, which is, for most people, the kind of a gold standard for fountain pen ink. And you have here Warm Heart, which comes off much pinker on this paper, which is really fun. It's actually, I really like the way it looks here. I think it looks really interesting as a pink when you take a little bit of that magenta away. I think it's really nice. It's a good looking pink. And that's because things just don't soak into Tomoe River. And then down here we have Cold Blooded, which is, I think, beautiful on this Tomoe River. You get like the sheen is just kind of like at the edges and at the tips of letters. And I think it looks really nice. Now, did I mess up Cold Blooded? Yes, a little bit. But like, come on, we're not all perfect. Let me see if I can find the other one. Where's that double broad? Ah, there it is. Right there. And of course, it looked great in a double broad. Oh man, I love a double broad nib. They are just great. So there you go. That's the Tomoe River paper. All right, so here is the Diamine SugarTurtle Cold Blooded on a Colodex card, which is from Well Appointed Desk. I'm gonna go ahead and put this underneath it because this one really got a lot of sheen on it. It can be kind of difficult to see the base color there, so I just kind of want to have both of those in the shot just to compare them. Here we go. This is Diamine Thunderbolt, which I picked out and I thought it was a lot closer than it actually is. It's like kind of close, but it's not nearly got the same tone. This is much more of a cold cold blue. I don't know, maybe a little bit cooler blue, I would say, than cold-blooded is. Then we've got this is Sailor Noi. I don't know how to say this one. I'm sorry. Noi Samare? I don't know, man. Correct me in the comments, please. My Japanese is atrocious, but I think this is actually very close to cold-blooded. This is a nice sailor that I'm not actually sure if they make this one anymore. If they do, it's probably in that Shikiori lineup, but this is a really pretty ink that I think is pretty great. Oh, hi, Nose. Did you come to help out? Oh, thanks, bud. All right, then we have Tasha Ao here, which is, I think, also very close. This one and the Sailor ink are very close together, and they're also very close to Cold-Blooded, which is pretty cool. So both of those are top-tier inks, and they're very close to this Diamine, so good job on that one. Then I also pulled out Diamine... Buddy. I need to use my desk, pal. Then I pulled out Diamine Festive Cheer. Mr. Nose is really wanting to help out here. Festive Cheer was from the ink vent in 2019, another very close one. This kind of blue with a bit of this bronzy sheen is a thing that Diamine does super well, so I'm not surprised there at all. We've also got here the Diamine Music Tchaikovsky, and also I pulled out Monteverde Sapphire. So a lot of Diamines kind of in this space. This is a space that Diamine, I think, kind of owns. They and Robert Oster do blues with sheen just kind of the best, I think. So I'm not surprised that a lot of these are a little bit in the same vein, but like kind of different blues. The thing about blue is that it's a huge color space, and there are a lot of them that are going to be very similar, but not identical. So I think we got a lot of similarities going on here with these inks, but no reason not to grab a bunch of them because they're real good. And a blue just kind of never goes out of style, if you ask me. All right, here we have Diamine SugarTurtle Warm Heart on a Colodex card. You didn't have that big amount of sheen like we had from the blue. It's just looking like a very nice magenta-y pink. And here is a color that I know a lot of people know, the Califolio Andronopal. This is a favorite of Mike Hurley of the Penaddict podcast, or at least it was for quite a while there. I never really cared for it because it's so dry, but this gives you a very, very similar color, and it doesn't have that dry aspect. So if you have a pen with a very normal sort of nib, Warm Heart's going to work out real well for you. If you've got a pen that has a really wet nib and you need to tame it, Andronopal might be the way to go for you if you're looking for that color. Then we have here also Pelikan Tourmaline. This is an interesting ink from their Edelstein collection there. I also pulled out, we'll just go ahead and throw this one out here at the same time because it fits. This is Ackerman Pulchiri Pink. This is an interesting one that I don't think I ever actually got around to using, but very similar kind of color space. I think Andronopal might be a little bit darker. Tourmaline has a little bit more of a sheen to it, as does Pulchiri Pink. So kind of in that same color space. Then we have a Van Ness Fountain Pen Day 2023 ink. I have a sample of this one. I never got a full bottle of it, and that one's kind of unobtainable. But if you missed that, it's pretty similar to Warm Heart, although it looks like the Van Ness one was a lot wetter. It was really coming off of the glass pen there, and also it looks like it's more of a solid color, and it doesn't really look like it's going to have the shading that you have with Warm Heart there. And then next up, this is Diamine Sweet Dreams. This is day 7 of the ink vent from last year, which is a scented ink. So if you're like, oh, I love this color, but I don't want it to smell like anything, then check out Warm Heart, because it's a very similar color. But again, this looks like it's going to be more of a solid color, kind of like that Van Ness pen color, or Van Ness ink color, rather. So yeah, but scented. I also don't remember what it smells like. I blanked that from my memory. I don't remember. Next up, this is Kyonoto, or Kyonoto, rather. Oh, man. I'm a Yoiro? Man, that's a tough one. Again, sorry to all of Japan and every Japanese speaker. But yeah, this is a kind of similar color, I think. And then, oddly, Diplomat Red, which is not a red. These are made in Germany by Octopus Fluids for Diplomat. And Diplomat Red is definitely a pink instead of a red. So if you're looking for a pink that says red, that's the one to go for. But I think this has a little bit more shading. It's just kind of like a less satisfying color for me in some way than Warm Heart. I don't really know why, but yeah, I don't know. Diplomat Red, not a red. This one though, a little bit closer. Also, if you're looking for, we'll put this other one up here. So these two are going to be the drier ones. The Kyonotos and the Califolios for me have always been on the dry side. So if you're looking for a really dry ink, go for one of those. If you want something that's more normal, go for the warm heart. All right. So here as a special note, I did buy these inks from Tom at SugarTurtle at a pen show. That is the Baltimore pen show here last in the spring. And he then gave me a pair of these to give away. So if you're watching this at the time that it is going up, then look below. There will be a link to enter for a drawing for these 2 inks. And, you know, get these sent out to some people. So that'll be fun, huh? And there you go. So thank you very much, SugarTurtle Tom, for giving me a pair of these to give away. Thank you for making cool inks with Diamine. Thank you, Diamine, for working with makers. That is a really fun thing for a major ink brand like y'all to do. And thank all of you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about the double format here, and I'll see you in another video soon. Until then, peace out.